on the Padres Radio Network.
Yeah, Machado laces it in the air to deep left. This one gonna go!
Coming up, we'll recap the last Padres game, preview today's starting pitching matchup, give you our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Craig Stammen. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. As today the Padres take on the San Francisco Giants in the final game of a 4-game series. Our starting pitching matchup today for the Giants, right-hander Landon Roop, and for the Padres, left-hander Kyle Hart. Hi, good everybody. Sam Levitt with you from inside the Western Metal Building here at Petco Park. First pitch is coming up at 1:10 p.m. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, we have a lot to do. We'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. I go one-on-one with both Jackson Merrill and Hermon Marquez. We check in with Tony Gwynn Jr. inside the Padres radio booth in just a little bit, and much, much more. But first, it's time to set the table, brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa Vista and Oceanside, and at FraserFarmsMarket.com. Well, first things first, Michael King was originally scheduled to start today's game. We found out a couple of hours ago it will be left-hander Kyle Hart making the start today for San Diego. Michael King pushed back to the series opener in Arizona tomorrow. So that was the early news of the day. Padres come in 57-54. They've won 7 of their last 8 games. They enter the day just 1 game out of the final National League wildcard spot. A win today would push the Padres 4 games above 500 for the first time in more than a month. Meanwhile, the Giants come in 47-64. They arrived in San Diego, having played some better baseball lately, winning 2 straight series against the Brewers and Angels. Padres are 5-4 against San Francisco so far this season. Well, the Giants won the series opener between these two teams on Thursday. Padres bounced back with a 2-hit shutout on Friday. Yesterday, we had a very back-and-forth affair. Let's rewind.
Did you miss what happened in the last Padres game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind on the Padres Radio Network.
Bottom of the first inning last night, Jackson Merrill put the Padres ahead.
Here's the 2-1 pitch. That's lined out towards left center field. That's going to get down to the base hit. Machado rounding third on his way as it rolls to the base of the wall. France now is on his way. He's going to come in to score. A 2-run double for Jackson Merrill. And the Padres, with 2 outs in the first, take a 2-0 lead.
Top 3, Walker Buehler on the mound for San Diego. A runner on base for Oslevis Basabe.
0-2 hit high and deep down the left field line. Bowen is back. He's going to watch. And this one going to go. Second balcony Western Metal for Basabe. His first hit as a San Francisco Giant is a 2-run home run. And this game is tied at 2 here in the third.
Giants scored another run to take a 3-2 lead. Bottom half of the 4th inning, a runner on base for Freddie Fermin.
Fermin swings at the first pitch and launches to left field. Forget it. A home run for Freddie Fermin. Underneath the first balcony of the Western Meadow Building, it's a go-ahead 2-run shot. Padres have hopped on top. It's 4-3.
Bottom half of the 6th inning, it was Fermin who struck again.
He's obviously a hawk. Here's a line drive, base hit into left field. Bogart's rounding third. He's going to score. Fermin's on his way to second base. Here's the throw from Ramos, the tag. He is out at second, but the run will score. Freddie Fermin drives in his 3rd of the night, and the balk sets up another Padre run.
Giants loaded the bases in the 8th inning against Jeremiah Estrada. Mason Miller came in to try to get out of it. Basabe once again dug in.
3-1 to Basabe. Miller delivers, and that's ripped on a line to left field. Bowen over, not going to get there. Devers has scored. Adames is on his way. This game is tied. Throw goes to second, not in time. And Oslevis Basabe, a 2-run game-tying double in the 8th. It's 5-5.
Miller would keep the game tied at 5. Bottom half of the 9th inning, the winning run on third base for Jake Cronenworth.
Here's the 7th pitch of the at-bat, and a line drive into center field. Base hit to win it. Bogarts will hit the dish, and Jake Cronenworth walks it off. The celebration will take place in shallow right field. Cronenworth got to first base, just kept on running, and the Padres walk off the Giants 6-5 as a sellout crowd celebrates at Petco Park.
And that was it last night. A walk-off winner, Jake Cronenworth, the hero. Padres win it 6-5, and now an opportunity to win this series and homestand finale with first pitch coming up at 1:10. As we get ready for this one and a beautiful Sunday here in downtown San Diego, let's go inside the Jerry Coleman Broadcast Center.
Let's take a trip up to the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup with Tony Gwynn Jr. in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, Tony, before we get to today's game here in San Diego, I do want to ask you your thoughts of the news that came out right before the Padres won last night's game. Tarek Skubal going from Detroit to L.A., joining the Dodgers. Your reaction when you heard that, the biggest crown jewel, I suppose, of this trade deadline going to L.A.?
Not a crazy surprise until you see what was given for him. And I just find it hard to believe that there weren't other teams. These aren't even the Dodgers' top 5 prospects. Yeah. Any of them. And the fact that you get Skubal isn't an indictment on the Dodgers and what they can do, because they didn't do anything that a lot of other teams could have done to get Skubal. They all elected not to. And my antennas go up when a deal like that goes down and it's not absurd. Like if the Dodgers were giving up, their top 2 prospect, that'd be a different deal. Everybody would be, I think teams would feel reluctant to do so on a rental, but they gave up guys just outside of the top 5, and I don't know, my antennas go up. But it's going to make the Dodgers, it also could be an indicator that we may not be seeing Shohei Ohtani as much with his recent injury. They may be protecting themselves for that.
Yeah, I was a little surprised about the return. I was also surprised about the timing. Thought maybe the Tigers would let this thing play out a little bit closer to the actual trade deadline. But, we continue on. Really has no bearing of what's going on here in San Diego. Let's talk about today's game. Got interesting news this morning, Tony. Michael King pushed back to tomorrow in Arizona. Kyle Hart making the start here today. What's your read on why the Padres went and did that today, starting Hart and pushing King back?
I mean, you do have a big 4-game series coming up here against the Diamondbacks, who, you could be even with after today, or 1 back or 2 back. And so I think it is it's positioning yourself to put your best guys forward. I mean, at this point, you're going to get Buehler on that last day there in Arizona, and to be able to have one of your other guys who has gone, 5 innings or more consistently than the others, I think it's a good idea. And who knows, if you end up being able to add another starter there, over the course of the next couple hours, I guess, you may be able to have even more going into that series.
Tony, focusing on the Kyle Hart part of this today, he was really good on Wednesday against Colorado in this role, in 2 2/3 scoreless innings in his start. He's been good when he's been asked to open this year. What will be the keys today for Kyle Hart against this Giant lineup in the first inning or 2?
Kyle was on the attack in that last opener role that he played. He really located that sweeper or slider that he uses, but he also used that sinker. And I think so often we think of that lane changer from Michael King. We think of it from the right side. Kyle Hart has that from the left side, and you saw him use that quite a bit on both lefties and righties. If he's commanding a baseball like that, it's a bonus to be able to get him multiple innings through a game before pulling your next card and going to the next guy.
On the other side of the pitching matchup today, right-hander Landon Roop on the mound for San Francisco. Tony, this is a guy the Padres have seen a lot of over the last handful of years, and it's been interesting. There have been many starts for Roop where he's been really good against the Padres. There have been starts where the Padres have hit him pretty well. How do the Padres hit him pretty well here today?
I'll tell you what, the last time they saw Roop was early in the season. I think it was March 30th, and he was a different Roop than I can remember seeing. His velocity was up, which really changed the way I think most of these guys saw him. It was a surprise, if I recall that day, talking to a lot of the Padre hitters afterwards about his velocity and the way he used his break and stuff. It just he had it going that day. And so, I don't think the Padres were prepared. I think they actually know what they're going to be getting into today, and I think they'll be better prepared. And plus, this is a much different offense than Root faced that first time in March. This team is probably swinging the bats collectively as well as they have at any point in the season, and I think that will also factor into today's game.
Yeah, it's a good point. I'll get into some of the numbers a little bit later. Padres have certainly been a very different offensive team since the turn of the calendar into July in particular. Tony, as always, appreciate the time. We'll talk to you and Jesse coming up at 1 p.m. as the Padres go for a series win. Thanks so much.
No problem, Sam.
All right, Tony Gwynn Jr. joining us on our EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on the Padres Radio Network as we get ready for first pitch coming your way at 1:10 p.m. Again, Padres pushing Michael King's start back to tomorrow. Kyle Hart will start today's game, and the Padres going for a series win, also trying to make this a 5-1 homestand against Colorado and San Francisco before they begin a crucial 4-game series against Arizona in Arizona starting tomorrow. And oh, by the way, the trade deadline is at 3 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow, so this will be the final game before the deadline tomorrow. Going to be very, very interesting to see what the Padres do in the next 24 plus hours. And we have had a lot of activity going back to last night. Things are really starting to move on the trade deadline front, so we'll get into that during our Around the Horn segment coming up a little bit later. When we come back, we'll hear from Padres manager Craig Stammen. A little bit later, hear from both Jackson Merrill and Hermon Marquez. First pitch coming up at 1:10 p.m. here at Petco Park on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside our loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. Apologize for the delay there. Had a little bit of technical difficulties, but we are back now and rocking and rolling on this Sunday afternoon as the Padres get ready to take on the San Francisco Giants with left-hander Kyle Hart making the start today for the Padres. As we get ready for this one, let's hear from Padre manager Craig Stammen.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres skipper Craig Stammen. Served up by Sinley Food. If you've had better chicken, you must be a rooster.
Well, the Padres winning yesterday's game in dramatic fashion, 6-5. Jake Cronenworth, the walk-off base hit, a game that saw the Padres and Giants go back and forth. Padres had an early lead. The Giants took the lead. The Padres got it back. The Giants tied it at 5 in the 8th inning with Mason Miller giving up a two-run double after Jeremiah Estrada allowed the bases to become loaded, but the Padres had the final say. The big swing yesterday from Jake Cronenworth to walk it off. Here was Craig Stammen after yesterday's 6-5 win.
2 runs in the first and got down, came back. They tied it up on a big situation, a lot of momentum, and then we were able to come through there. Huge at bat by Jake in the 9th, 0-2. Just battled his tail off and a hit that we've seen Jake get a few times now.
How nice was it to see him get his first walk-off hit of the season this year?
Yeah, it was good. He's had a tough season. He's come back from a lot this year, and to see him have success the second half of the season, the way he's played since he's come back, is the old Jake Cronenworth that we've remember, and he's played like himself, which is, I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful that he's healthy enough to be able to do that. I know he's, very, thankful and grateful that all the doctors took care of him and that he was able to come back and be himself again.
I know for Mason, it's a tough situation for anybody, but what did you see from his ability just to be able to bounce back in that 9th inning?
Yeah, exactly. I talk about how great a person he is. He just kind of handles every situation, whatever's thrown at him. He does it with toughness and grace and mental toughness. And, the hardest thing is when you get knocked down is to be able to get back up. And when he gets back up, he's pretty amazing. He's not just okay. He's like the best. And he showed that again tonight. He made one pitch that he probably wants back. And then after that, there are no pitches that he wants back. He made pitches all night long, and, a big win in his column instead of a save tonight.
I know you don't really care who helps you win, but the fact that it would be like Freddie Fermin, all he's been through this year, Xander has not been going well, the roles that those kind of guys play.
Yeah, you're right. The big boys aren't going to hit every single night and have contributions from the bottom of our lineup, and Xander's not really like a bottom of the lineup typically player. But I think we're seeing a few positive signs from him down there. And tonight, one of the biggest hits of the game. And then Freddie being able to get him over to third with a bunt. Freddie with a home run tonight. Just a lot of good things from those guys, and they're contributing to our wins. And that's what happens when you start playing really good baseball and team baseball, is you get contributions from everybody.
Overall, from your bullpen, before Jeremiah and what happened, you got your 2 lefties came in and were magnificent.
Yeah.
Just what can you say about how they got you to that point?
Yeah, you're right. Walker battled through his start tonight, gave up a few hits, and just not a great matchup there against Devers with guys on base. And so Wandy came in, 2 pitches, he's out of the inning. It was pretty really darn good job right there. And then Adrian picks him up with the guy on third and does his job and looks like the best pitcher in baseball for an inning and a third. It's just a nice luxury to have guys like that be able to pitch your 5th, 6th, and 7th innings.
How do you feel about the way that your catcher rotation's kind of panned out recently, kind of settled in? Do you feel like this is the most comfortable you guys have been with this current group?
Yeah, I think it's the most comfortable outside of the very beginning of the season. It's the most healthy that we're finally getting. Campy's been able to catch a little bit more, play a little bit more. Freddie's, kind of had the concussion stuff a little bit past him. You can see that he's just a little bit more lively and playing a little bit better, swinging the bat a little bit better at the plate. So both those guys are putting in a ton of work to be ready to play every day. And they got a nice little catching tandem going on. And Rodolfo Duran's still here too, has got their back in all those games also, and he's a defensive specialist for us. So we got 3 great catchers that we can rely on.
That was Padres manager Craig Stammen yesterday after a 6-5 win for the Padres against the San Francisco Giants. We'll hear more from Craig on our postgame coverage coming up later on this afternoon. Sam Levitt back with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park. First pitch coming up at 1:10 p.m. Let's tell you who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to step up their game? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not. Presented by ASAP Drain Guys and Plumbing, a division of Anderson Commercial, your full-service plumber serving San Diego County.
Let's begin with a look at the hot category. Jackson Merrill batting .380 with 5 home runs, 12 RBIs in the last 13 games. Luis Rengifo took an over yesterday, but he's batting .381 with 2 home runs and 2 doubles in the last 13 games. Ty France batting .408 with 6 home runs, 5 doubles, 19 RBIs in his last 19 games. Not category, Gavin Sheets, who is back in the Padres lineup today. He is only 5 for his last 51. And that's a quick look at who's hot, who's not as we get ready for this series finale against San Francisco. Taking a look at the Padres lineup here today, looks like this: a day off for Fernando Tatis Jr. So Luis Rengifo in left field leading off, Jake Cronenworth at second base batting second, Manny Machado the DH batting third, Ty France at first base batting cleanup, Jackson Merrill in center field batting fifth, Luis Campusano doing the catching batting sixth, Gavin Sheets in right field batting seventh, Xander Bogaerts at shortstop batting eighth, and Sung Moon Song at third base batting ninth, with again left-hander Kyle Hart on the mound for San Diego, right-hander Landon Roop on the mound today for the San Francisco Giants. Let's get you updated on what's going on around the major leagues. We're just about 24 hours away from the trade deadline. We've got some trades happening. Let's get to it as we take you around the horn.
Let's examine the most important news and the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball. Sam Levitt takes you around the horn. Presented by Valley View Casino and Hotel. Get ready for Major League winning when you join Valley View Casino and Hotel's Players Club and receive over $200 in free instant offers. Visit valleyviewcasino.com to learn more today.
Well, this morning, reportedly, the Mets are trading right-hander Freddie Peralta to Tampa Bay in exchange for 3 minor leaguers. Peralta will join Drew Rasmussen, Shane McClanahan, Nick Martinez in one of the American League's best rotations as the first-place Rays make a big move to get Freddie Peralta. In return, the Mets receiving minor league outfielder Aiden Smith, infielder Emilian Petre, and right-handed pitcher Gary Hill. So that is the trade. Tampa Bay and New York, with the Mets sending Freddie Peralta to Tampa Bay. Well, the big news last night, Tarek Skubal on his way to the LA Dodgers from the Tigers. The Dodgers sending 3 prospects to Detroit: outfielder Zaire Hope, right-hander River Ryan, and Brady Smith. White Sox acquired right-hander Luis Castillo from the Mariners yesterday. That's in exchange for reliever Sir Anthony Dominguez, outfielder Nolan Jones, and catching prospect Boston Smith. So the White Sox bolstering their rotation with the trade for Luis Castillo. As far as the Braves, they are acquiring outfielder Lane Thomas and minor league left-hander Bailey Falter from the Royals in exchange for 2 minor league pitchers. That was reported on yesterday as well. So those are the big moves that have come down over the course of the last 24 hours or so. I am sure that we are far from done as far as trades before the deadline at 3 p.m. Pacific time tomorrow. Going to be very interesting to see what the Padres do, but that's a look at what's going on around the trade deadline on this Sunday. And that is a quick go around the horn as we get ready for first pitch coming up at 1:10. When we come back, you'll hear from Jackson Merrill. You'll hear from Hermon Marquez, who did such a marvelous job out of the bullpen on Friday night. Plus, we have our keys to today's game and much, much more. First pitch coming up at 1:10, series finale between the Padres and Giants. Padres going for a series win on this Sunday on the Padres Radio Network. SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building at Petco Park as we get ready for first pitch coming your way at 1:10 p.m. This series and homestand finale, Padres head on to Arizona for the start of a 4-game series tomorrow. And before now and then, the trade deadline will have passed. So going to be an interesting 24 hours or so. But you know what? First things first, Padres got to take care of business. Try to win a series today against the San Francisco Giants. You'll hear from Hermon Marquez in a moment. You'll also hear from Jackson Merrill in just a bit as well. First, let's give you the latest on the Padres injury front with today's injury report.
Who's in? Who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit him up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
Well, not a ton more to report today. Obviously, there are a number of players really starting to work their way back from a pitching standpoint. Let's begin with David Morgan. Remember, he began a rehab stint in mid-July, but experienced a setback as he was dealing with that left knee inflammation, then had been dealing with soreness in his right trap muscle, but he did resume his rehab stints with AAA El Paso. That was reported on today, that he is heading back to AAA to resume that rehab assignment. So good news there. As far as Joe Musgrove and Nick Pivetta, we told you about this yesterday. They threw a bullpen session earlier this week. As long as all went well with that, the next step for both was going to be some sort of rehab assignment, a real rehab start this coming week at some level. So be on the lookout for that. We should have news in the next day or two about the next step for Joe and Nick, but both, as long as everything continues to progress well, are heading towards a rehab start this coming week. Not really any update right now on Jason Adams, Samad Taylor, Lucas Giolito, Miguel Andujar, but as we get updates on all these guys, we'll continue to pass them along. But that's the latest on Pivetta, on Musgrove, and on Morgan. Before we hear from a couple of Padres players, let's take a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard.
Let's take a trip around the bigs to highlight the scores that matter most with our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Premium Beef Patties. Always a hit for grilling.
We have a handful of games going on right now. Phillies leading the Orioles 2-0 in Baltimore in the third, although they are in a rain delay in Baltimore right now. The Braves lead the Nationals 4-2 in the seventh inning in Atlanta. Cardinals and the Blue Jays tied at 1 in Toronto in the eighth inning. Guardians lead the Diamondbacks 5-0 in Cleveland in the sixth inning. They're in a rain delay in Cleveland right now as well. White Sox lead the Rays 5-0 in Tampa Bay in the seventh inning. Marlins ahead of the Mets in the eighth inning, 1-0 in New York. Reds lead the Pirates 9-1 in Cincinnati in the fifth inning. Astros 3, Rangers 2 in the sixth inning. In Houston, Yankees lead the Cubs 2-1 in Chicago in the fifth inning. Royals and the Rockies are tied at 1 in the second in Colorado. Angels lead the Brewers 2-0 in Anaheim in the second. Games coming up in just a little bit. Tigers and the A's in Sacramento at 1:05. Twins and the Mariners in Seattle at 1:10. And finally, Red Sox in LA later on this evening against the Boston Red Sox. Red Sox in LA, 4:20 p.m. the first pitch there. And that is a full look at the out-of-town scoreboard on this Sunday. Well, before we focus more on today's game, I did want to revisit what the Padres did on Friday night. A 2-hit shutout. Bradley Rodriguez, scoreless inning to open the game. Yuki Matsui, 3 scoreless innings of relief, a career high in innings pitched for Yuki. And then Hermon Marquez going 5 scoreless innings in relief, picking up his first major league save in the process, and the first 5-inning save for the Padres since 1969. How about that? I caught up with Hermon to talk about that outing earlier today.
Congratulations on an amazing performance on Friday. A 5-inning save, 5 scoreless innings. What worked for you on Friday in particular?
Yeah, I feel like everything was working. You know, like I was hitting my target. I was like throwing my curveball for a stride. You know, throwing my curveball, you know, to chase. And like I feel like that was the key for me. And 5 innings save. That's a little crazy, but like yeah.
Yeah, your first major league save. For it to be a 5-inning save, I know it's not what you've been accustomed to, but I got to imagine that was pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been a long time, a starter, and had a save. I feel like it's another record for me in my career, and then that feels nice.
Did you know it was the first time a Padres pitcher had recorded a 5-inning save since 1969? Can you believe that?
No, I couldn't believe it. The manager just told me that, and I was like, what? And yeah, it was fun.
Hermon, obviously that was an interesting game where you guys kind of did it in reverse. You had Brad Glaze start, you had Yuki go 3 innings, then you went 5 scoreless innings at the end. But a pretty good example of the strategy this team is using right now, sort of piecing it together day by day on a lot of days. Yeah. What's been your mindset about the current pitching strategy that you've been involved in?
Yeah, I feel like whatever it takes, to win again, to get as far as we can, to, make the playoff, go into the World Series. I feel like if we're going to do it like that, let's do it like that, everybody stick together.
It also seems like the kind of strategy where you would need to get a lot of the guys around the clubhouse to buy in, to want to do it, to accept that role. Do you feel like this clubhouse sort of uniquely has bought into what you guys are doing?
Yeah, and I feel like everybody, is looking, and I feel like everybody's doing his job. Well, it's outside pitching.
Yeah. When you saw what Yuki went and did, I mean, you had the 5-inning save, but he had 3 innings, career high in innings. He also threw a career high 49 pitches. When you were in the bullpen watching what Yuki was going and doing, what was your perspective on that?
Yeah, I didn't expect that, Yuki going 3 innings and 49 pitches. It was crazy, and I feel like Yuki wasn't. He was ready, but he wasn't expecting, to throw 3 innings and 49 pitches. Yeah. Well, it is what it is, and he did an amazing job, and so, yeah.
We're joined by Padres pitcher Hermon Marquez. I mean, it seems like just talking to you now, it seems like, you are kind of enjoying this new role, what you did on Friday. I would imagine, though, as somebody who has started your entire life, your entire major league career, this has been different this season to go through a year where your role has changed a little bit.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I came to San Diego, because I feel like we have a lot of talent. I feel like we have a lot of chance, to make the playoff and go far as we can.
That was Padres pitcher Hermon Marquez inside the Padres clubhouse earlier. Really nice job by Hermon on Friday. We'll see what the bullpenning looks like today. Kyle Hart starting. Going to be a game once again today where the Padres try to stitch this pitching staff through it and get through the ball game, hopefully with a win. Remember, again, Michael King, we found out just a couple of hours ago, pushed back to tomorrow. He'll start in the series opener in Arizona, so Kyle Hart starting today's game for San Diego. We'll hear from Jackson Merrill coming up in a little bit. Our pregame coverage, as always, brought to you by EcoWater SoCal, keeping it soft since 1925. Visit EcoWaterSoCal.com or call 760-350-3338. That's 760-350-3338. Let's give you our keys to today's game.
How will the Padres unlock a win today? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Rock and Block Turf and Hardscapes. Beautiful artificial turf that stays green all year long. Trust and experience. The job isn't done until it's done right. See them at rockandblocklandscape.com.
I'll keep the keys pretty simple today. Key number 1, keep hitting. Since July 1st, the Padres have posted a 779 OPS. That ranks 3rd in the majors in that span. A major turnaround after ranking last in the majors with a 669 OPS before July. Key number 2, Kyle Hart getting this game off to a good start. Hart has been very, very good in these opening roles so far this season. This will be the 4th time he's been an opener this year. 3 starts so far, 5 2/3 innings, 1 earned run given up, on 4 hits. He comes in with a 4.87 ERA in 28 outings this season. Started on Wednesday against Colorado, went 2 2/3 scoreless innings, gave up just 2 hits. And key number 3, well, can the Padres make the not-so-good version of Landon Roop show up today? Roop has thrown shutout baseball in 3 of his 5 career starts against the Padres, including 6 scoreless innings all the way back on March 30th. But in 2 of the starts against them in his career, he's allowed a combined 9 runs in 6 2/3 innings. So it's been really, a tale of 2 guys with Roop as far as facing the Padres. A lot of starts he's been very good against them, but there have been starts where the Padres have hit him pretty hard. The other thing to note with Roop, his 52.4% ground ball rate ranks 5th in the majors. He faces a Padres lineup today that has the 2nd highest ground ball rate in the major league. So can the Padres get Roop up? Can they get him in the air a little bit? That's a key to today's game, certainly, and that's a look at our keys to the game. As we get ready for first pitch, coming your way at 1:10 here at Petco Park. Everybody having a good time inside the loft on this Sunday, and the Padres going for a series win against San Francisco. When we come back, I go one-on-one with Jackson Merrill before today's game. That comes your way after this. EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show continues here on the Padres Radio Network. Sam Levitt with you inside the loft here at the Western Metal Building as we get ready for first pitch coming your way at 1:10 p.m. We send things out to Jesse and Tony in under 10 minutes as the Padres go for a series win on a gorgeous Sunday here at Petco Park against the San Francisco Giants. Today is a Military Sunday, and as always, it's brought to you by our San Diego County Toyota dealers. We make it easy. Well, Jackson Merrill continues to swing a hot bat. He had a big 2-run double early in yesterday's game. Jackson, as we said, a little bit earlier, batting .380 with 5 home runs, 12 RBIs in his last 13 games. I caught up with the Padres center fielder earlier today.
2 runs in the first and got down, came back. They tied it up on a big situation, a lot of momentum, and then we were able to come through there. Huge at bat by Jake in the ninth, 0-2. Just battled his tail off and a hit that we've seen Jake get.
All right, well, clearly that was not Jackson Merrill. We'll try to get that sorted out here in a second, so just hang with us for a second. Little bit of technical difficulties, probably my fault. Probably labeled something incorrectly. So instead of that, while we try to get things sorted out with the Jackson Merrill audio, let's tell you what to watch for in today's game.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovements.com.
What to watch for in today's game as the Padres take on the San Francisco Giants. Well, how about Luis Arraez, who was a late scratch from last night's lineup due to lower body cramping. He enters today leading the major leagues in hitting with his .328 batting average. Arraez, again, didn't play yesterday. Padres have done a good job against him in this series so far. Arraez only had 2 hits, or I should say, 1 hit in the first 2 games of this series. So can the Padres limit Luis Arraez at the very top of the lineup? We'll see if they can do that today against the San Francisco Giants. All right, let's see if we have the right Jackson Merrill audio. It's the same audio. Okay, well, that's not good. So that's on me. I labeled something incorrectly. I don't know that we're going to have enough time, unfortunately, to rectify the situation. Oh, that's too bad, because that was a good interview with Jackson Merrill. That's on me. It happens. See, it's everybody out there, if you're listening. See, you got to double check your work. I labeled something incorrectly. Now I'm on the air in our final segment of our pregame coverage. There's very little I can do to really get it right. So it is what it is. You know what? I'm going to send an email to our board operator, Kyle, here, because we do have a second. So, Kyle, I'm going to work on an email for you right now. Let's see if we can at least play a little bit from Jackson, what he said earlier today. So, Kyle, just shoot me a text if we can get this ready. At least play the people a little bit of audio from Jackson Merrill before today's game. That email is sent off. You are hearing live producing right now here on the Padres Radio Network. We'll see if we can get at least a little bit of the Jackson Merrill interview for you. Again, a little bit of technical difficulties there. Anyway, let's talk more about today's game. So, what is the situation for the Padres entering today? Well, they have won 7 of their last 8 games. They are 57-54 coming in. They entered today just 1 game out of the final National League wildcard spot. Remember, a win today would push the Padres 4 games above 500 for the first time in over a month. Giants, meanwhile, come in 47-64. Giants had been playing some good baseball coming into this series. Series wins against the Brewers and Angels entering this series, and now the Giants aiming for a series split here today. They'll try to do that as they have a very interesting scenario leading up to the trade deadline at 3 p.m. tomorrow. The wide consensus around Major League Baseball is that the Giants will try to make some moves and sell off some pieces before tomorrow's deadline. Certainly Luis Arraez would be a top candidate to be moved. Robbie Ray would be a top candidate to be moved. So we'll see what the Giants and their president of baseball operations, Buster Posey, does before the trade deadline tomorrow. As far as the Padres, going to be very interesting to see what they do. Certainly the Padres have needs, starting pitching and beyond. So as we know, this time of year, always interesting with A.J. Preller and the Padres. You never know what direction they might go in. You never know who they might trade. It really is a fascinating time of year. So going to be a pretty interesting next 24 hours or so. But on the field, the Padres losing on Thursday, bouncing back with a really nice win on Friday, a two-hit shutout by three pitchers, a 7-0 Padres win, and then yesterday a back-and-forth affair that ended with the heroics of Jake Cronenworth in a walk-off hit in the bottom half of the ninth inning. All right, I apologize we couldn't get you that Jackson Merrill interview, but hopefully we'll be able to play it at some point in the days to come. When we come back, we'll hear from Jesse Agler and Tony Gwynn Jr. They have the full starting lineups, first pitch, and all the play-by-play. I'll talk to you on our post-game coverage. You're listening to your home for San Diego Padres baseball, 97.3 The Fan, and the Padres Radio Network. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Sid's Carpet Bar.